You are victorious in a game that emotional, that chippy. Is it extra sweet?
It is. It's you know December in an NBA season and an emotional game, a chippy game. But this is good. It's good for our team. It's good for their team. It builds our character. It's great to be on the winning side.
What Zion did tonight, especially in the fourth quarter, it's almost as if he just said, all right, I'm done messing around. We're just going to go win this thing. Is there something that you said to him, something, a flip that switched somehow for him?
No, I didn't say anything to him. I think that's just who he is. He understands time, score, situation. He understands the moment. And he made big plays after big plays. He got the steal, went down and finished, hit the three that was big for us. It's just, that's what great players do.
I'm sure it's hard to choose a favorite moment. There are so many accolades, so many things he does so well. Is there one thing in this game that you could point to that you're most proud of him, that shows the most growth, that you think really defines him?
I'm proud of him no matter what happens, what he's overcome already early in his career, how he handles adversity, how he handles being in the spotlight is tough. And to see how he's building this season in terms of getting his game, back at a high level. He's working, he's watching film, he's working with Coach Teresa Weatherspoon, and they're getting after it. So I'm extremely proud of him for what he does, both on and off the floor.
The three hit in the fourth quarter got the lead down to 2. What'd you think about the confidence from him to pop that one?
If he's open, anybody on our team, if you're open and you work on it, shoot it. And big time shot, big time play by Trey to drive the ball. I think it was Trey that drove the ball to the lane and kicked it out. So a number of big plays down the stretch for us, and that's what it takes.
Yeah, and I mean, they were sending a lot of extra help at him anyway. I mean, what do you think about, I know you want him to make the right play, but what do you think about just, him being able to score against the wall sometimes like that?
It's incredible. His touch when he gets down the lane with 2-3 guys hanging on him, and he still is somehow able to find the glass. And then he does a great job of finding his teammates as well. So, it's a luxury for us to have a player, a person like Z, and he had a dominant performance tonight.
As he's making that progression to become one of the better players in this league, how important is it to show performances like this where he can not just put up the numbers but take over in the fourth when you guys need it late in the game?
It's extremely important. It's important for him. It's important for all of our guys. Like I said before, we're not even fully healthy as a unit yet. So I think I speak for our whole group that we're extremely proud of what we're doing. We know we have a long ways to go. We know there will be some adjustments, but when Zion does what he did tonight, it makes everybody on our team better.
And how big is it just showing a complete game, like Christian said, the three-pointer, getting the steal, not just the stuff we know him for, but doing everything there late in the game?
Yeah, I think that's the maturation progress of Z along with other guys, is that they'll continue to add to their games as they get experience in the league. And looking at how teams guard him, a lot of guys are backing up and going into the paint, and so he's going to have some of those shots open. And tonight he just played a balanced game. He dominated where he needed to on both ends of the floor.
And not to overlook his third quarter where he had 19 points. And Zion came right out of halftime looking very aggressive. I think he looked to drive on 3 or 4 possessions. Did you guys say anything to him at halftime maybe?
We didn't say much. We watched some film, a few clips, and just talked about, right now the game is a little funky in terms of our rhythm and moving the ball. We just need to be a bit forceful, get into our sets, have better execution. I don't know if that's what sparked him or not, but like I said, he understands the moment.
And D'Angelo and Ant really gave you guys a tough time tonight, especially Ant getting into the lane. What finally worked for you? Because I saw some, zone there in the third quarter, but nothing seemed to work for a while.
There's some areas that I'm sure we'll go back and look at the tape and we know we can be better. But those two guys are really good basketball players, and they have the ability to score at the basket. They can shoot threes. They can get to the foul line. They're crafty. They present matchup problems for most teams. So, we try to throw some different looks at them. We hit Edwards a few times, doubled him, got the ball out of his hands, ran some zone to try to break up their timing and rhythm. But they're a well-coached team, and they can execute.
Hey, Willie, when Zion gets going like that, in the moment, are you able to really appreciate it, or do you have to go back and watch the film and be like, wow, this is what he was doing? Like, can you appreciate it in that moment?
Sometimes it's difficult in the moment, but I remind myself of how difficult, how hard it is, how challenging it is to be as great as he is. I couldn't do any of the stuff that he was doing, so for sure, I'm appreciative as a player that had an opportunity to play in the NBA and not have what he has, and then as a coach, how he's able to do it night in and night out, and lift his teammates up at the same time. So it's incredible to watch.
Coach, this team is second in the NBA in fourth quarter scoring. You score another 33 points a night. What does it say about how well this team can execute down the stretch when the game matters the most?
It speaks to the preparation of our coaching staff, our performance medical team, and then our players. It's something that we work on constantly, is having an environment to play in depending on who we match up against. In the last 5 or 6 minutes, especially in close games, we want to dial teams up with our execution on both ends of the floor. So it's good to see us win some of these games, some of these close games, because I think it builds our character going down the stretch of the season.
Coach, this is your 11th starting 5 unit throughout the year. Are you trying to use that to help with the camaraderie of the team, or is that just putting something together, if you don't mind giving me a take on that?
It's the cards that we're being dealt, and you just make adjustments accordingly. And the beauty in it is that all of our guys down the line are ready to step up when their number is called, and we're extremely blessed and thankful to have a group like we do. But it's not something that we go in the season saying, okay, we want to start all of these different lineups, but it happens throughout the course of the year. Okay, thank you. Thanks.
That was a lot of free throws for both sides. What was it like to just be part of that one, with how many fouls were called, with how chippy it got?
I missed one. That's all I can think about right now. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't miss free throws. But a lot of free throws called. It was a high-intensity game, sold-out game. We came back, fought, and we played very physical and very aggressive. So I feel like that's what happens when two teams play like that, especially when, Z probably wasn't getting a good whistle in the first half. Things changed his way, and, he was getting to the foul line a lot more in the second half.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you made the pass design when he hit that three, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. What did you just think about, the confidence from him, to pop that one when you guys need a bucket there?
I mean, I kind of owed him because he passes me the ball a lot for threes. So I was like, let me, give the big fella one for three. So, and I also tell him a lot of the time, like, look, if they going to leave you that open, you got to shoot the ball. And your jumper's not ugly, so it might go in. So it went in, like I said. I mean, people should listen to me. I'm trying to tell you.
Trey, did you feel like, one of the aspects that made this a really good win was it just seemed like everything was kind of going against you guys? Your biggest lead was only 4 points. You mentioned not a lot of whistles in the first half. It seemed like you guys shot poorly, too. Besides you. The jumpers in the first half, it doesn't seem like they were going in. Did you feel, it just seemed like there was a lot of things going against you guys, and you were still able to win.
Yeah, to an extent. But at the end of the day, we just try to take it possession by possession, just, keep playing to the final whistle. I think that's all it was, and just try to get a stop on the defensive end and then let that fuel our offense. And, I didn't even notice, we shot all right, though, 45%.
Yeah, in the first quarter. First quarter plus, it was like 33%, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I didn't even notice it, man. We just going to shoot the ball. It is what it is. Ended up at 45, so we'll take it.
And, we see the big numbers with Z all the time, but what's it like in a game like this where he just takes over at the end of the game, 14 straight to close it out? Just seeing him really just will the team to win like that.
He's a superstar, man. Like I said on the, broadcast, well, not the broadcast, the little radio interview, I think he's the MVP of our league. You look at, we're one of the best teams in the West. He's leading us. He put up 43 on 21 shots. He's leading our team, scored the last 14 points, if I'm not mistaken. He's different, man. I have never seen anything like this, and I'm just grateful to be his teammate.
And what's it like when the defense knows exactly what he wants to do, and he's still able to get to the basket over and over again? Does it ever kind of shock you just how he's able to do it over and over?
Shock me? In all honesty, it does. It does. I'm shocked. It keeps happening. It's just wow. He keeps getting to the basket. He keeps making this. He'll shoot one. I'm like, all right, let me go get this rebound, and it goes in. I'm like, wow. That's pretty. That's pretty dope right there. He's just different, man. Really different dude.
Trey, you and your teammates have often talked about this season so far that Z's defense is a lot better than he's given credit for. But how impressed are you that he's able to come up with such big plays like the steal tonight in such key moments?
Man, it's a really gutsy type of play because it's really bang bang. Because if you miss the steal, then they come down, they have an advantage. But him being, the guy that he is projected to be and who he is right now, superstars and people like that make those plays and fuel our team, and we didn't look back after that.
And tonight was the 8th sellout. You've had 2 consecutive sellouts here. Do you notice a difference between last year and this year? Is the crowd, can you really feel them behind you this year?
Do I notice a difference? I just remember coming out my first NBA game at home against the Sixers. And I look out into the crowd, and I see my mom, and I don't see 30 people within her. There's just a bunch of open seats. And I'm just looking around like, this is NBA basketball right here. Wow. And now I can barely find my parents. It's just, it's really a lot of love. And I'm very excited for what we have to come, and I appreciate the fans a lot.
Trey, do these games feel like a playoff atmosphere, even though we're just in December? And if so, how much can that help this team, you feel like, going
Absolutely. It definitely feels like a playoff atmosphere. I really think that we have the best atmosphere in the entire league. Our fans show up in numbers, and they are very loud, and they let you know what they think as well. And I think that's just the New Orleans in us, that they just show their emotion and let the other team and the referees have it sometimes.
Trey, I asked Coach Willie the question too. You were part of today one of the 10 or 11 different starting lineups. Is that something that y'all get used to, or is it because of what y'all are currently going through right now?
Yeah, you get used to it, and for us, it's just like we have a bunch of guys that can play basketball at a really high level. And, whatever team we throw out there, we're going to play hard, we're going to play physical, we're going to share the ball, we're going to compete. And, I mean, that's just a good recipe for, wins and, being successful. So any team that you put out there, they're going to compete. That's all I have to say. What you doing in here?
Because I'm your mama.
There were a lot of fouls from both teams in that one. It got a little chippy. What was it like to just be part of, a physical game like that?
We need games like that. Sometimes those fouls get called, sometimes they won't. But I think it's just how we respond to it. I think even though it looked like we were down most of the game, I think we responded to it very well.
Willie was talking a little bit about your touch around the basket. I was just curious. I mean, is your ability to hit these really difficult layups, is that something you've always had? Is it something you've developed over time?
I feel like I always had a knack for it. And I feel like as I get older and learn the game more and more, I improve on it.
And as you continue to progress as a star in this league, how important is moments like tonight where you take over in the last couple of minutes of a game, score 14 straight, and really get your team winning a close game?
I watch a lot of old school players, and I like to try to figure out their mindsets, and all their mindsets was the same. People remember winners. So, whenever that time comes for me to be done with the game of basketball, I want people to say that he was a winner. And CJ looked at me and said, "You want to be great, it's time to step up." And that was all the motivation I needed.
How important are these type of games for you guys where it's physical, multiple techs, close throughout, and you still find a way to win?
I mean, it's just basketball and executing, not letting your emotions dictate your next move or dictate your emotions in the sense of causing you to turn the ball over or not shoot a shot that you probably hit 90% and not feel the same. It's just staying calm, coming together as a team, and executing.
I feel like I'd be down bad if I don't ask about the fit. Very in New Orleans. Was that the inspiration behind it?
Absolutely. Shout out to my boy Rico Brown. He's from New Orleans. Him and my boy Axel they styled me. And Rico said, it's time to get the city some love, and he threw the fit together. I like it. I like it a lot, actually.
Z, at halftime you had 10 points. You finished with 43. I know you just talked about, having that winner's mentality, but what sparked that for you? Was it just, talking to yourself, or did somebody say anything to you at halftime?
I don't know. I couldn't even tell you. I want to win. I can't just sit here and always say that I want to win. I got to show it. And it was one of those things where, Coach and my teammates were just like, hey, go to work. And they trusted what I would do with the basketball. So I want to thank them for that.
And Z, you found Trey, I think, for 4 of his 5 threes, and then he found you for a big one at the end. Did you feel like you had to shoot that one?
I was going to shoot it regardless. I was that open. I felt like I was in rhythm. But shout out to Trey for that. It was a big 3 in the game. And like you said, Trey, I found Trey for a couple threes, and, man, he knocks them down. Sometimes even when I think, I didn't throw it, because I'm a perfectionist, I be saying I want to find it in his shooter's pocket. Even when I think that I overthrew it or threw it outside, he lines it up. I say it all the time, man, he's a special shooter.
I know getting the win was the most important thing for you, but what does getting that career high and finally getting to 40 mean to you? You're finishing with 43 tonight.
I just like to win. I like to win. My teammates was talking about it. It was like, that's your first one? I like to spread the wealth. As long as we win, I'm straight.
Hey, Zion, this is already the team's 15th home win. Last year, the team didn't get 15 home wins until March the 4th. Just talk about the importance of winning these home games and building that true home court advantage.
It's the crib. It's the fort. You got to protect your fort. And, I talked about it over the summer. The city deserves this. The city deserves to have a basketball team because, the Saints, they've been holding it down for so many years, and you got to give them that respect. But, the city deserves to have, the Pelicans be great too. Last year, the team started figuring it out towards the end, and instead of letting it be like, oh, that was a fluke or we're happy with that, nobody was satisfied. Everybody got in the lab. Even me, joining the team back and playing in games, we want to do something special.
Zion, New Orleans rapper and dignitary Currency frequents Pelicans games. Can you talk about the relationship you and him have?
Nothing but love and respect for the brother. I respect how he carried himself, the decisions he made on how he would go about music and the route he took. He showed love. It looked like he be at every home game. So it ain't fake love. I got nothing but love and respect for that brother. So I want to say thank you for coming to the games and showing the love, man.
Zion, the buzzing.
Oh, I'm sorry. By the way, he gave me this dope Jet Life Letterman jacket. Cold. I'm gonna have to post that one on social media. That jacket was cold.
So the buzz in the arena as the game ended was kind of like people seemed really gratified to have been here for this one. That maybe it's a milepost in your career, a very, very memorable game. Did it feel like that for you coming down the stretch? And what do you think about all that?
Nah, I just felt like I wanted to win. That's just what it is for me. People remember winners. I mean, when you look at some of the greatest of all time, the first thing you go to is championships, like what they did in big moments, and that's what I want to be remembered as, a winner. So for me, it was just getting the win.
Zion, you keep expressing about how you want to be a winner. I talked to Coach Green, and he said how he was proud of you and how you've worked with Coach Witherspoon. How much time do you put in, at least a week? You don't have to necessarily give me the exact, but working on your game and working on trying to cover things over the film.
I mean, every day, essentially. Some days are more physical than others. Some days are more mental than others. Just watching film, breaking down how teams are going to play me or how we think they might play me. And then also, not just watching film on me, but watching film on my teammates as well. Still learning their spots, where they hit the most and stuff like that. The game of basketball, it is simple. It is so simple that it's crazy, but when you start to really look into the game, man, it's so much to learn about the game, and I love it.
And there's that moment at the end where you're shooting the 2 free throws where D'Lo comes and stands right in front of you. They try to keep moving it back. He ended up getting the delay of game. Just what's kind of running through your mind when a guy's trying to, get you out of your space in that moment?
Yeah, I'm about to make this free throw. What? But nah, D'Lo's a great player. That's my dog. That's just him showing that how much you want to win. Sometimes that stuff works. I tell my friends all the time, you think it's a regular free throw, you can shoot 1,000 of them, you can practice them your whole life, but when you in that moment don't feel the same as the first quarter or the second quarter. It's real. And go back to what CJ told me, want to be great, I knock them free throws down. All right, you guys have a great night.
CJ, just how would you describe what Z was able to do during those final few minutes of the fourth quarter, just scoring the last 14 points for you guys?
Yeah, that was very impressive. The energy he played with, obviously, the ability to finish around the basket. We really had a diverse play calling down the stretch. Get the ball to Z and get the fuck out the way. But I thought he did a great job of commanding double teams, finishing around the basket. And he played with energy. To do what he did tonight in 33 minutes, right? Like, shows you fresh out of COVID how good he is, but also the motor, the conditioning, the ability to finish. The steal down the stretch of the game was a huge play. Probably the most important play of the game. Obviously, he hit a big three. He did some stuff around the basket, made some great passes, but that steal was huge for us. It gave us extra possession, gave us a lead, and then gave us a chance to get a stop. We didn't, and then we ended up getting a foul in the next possession. But I think, he's just showing the strides that he's taken, the growth, his ability to kind of understand the game and adapt as the game goes on, and ability to turn the switch on. It was very impressive tonight.
And you've seen a lot of great players throughout your career. Have you ever seen anything quite like him where everybody knows where he wants to go, what he wants to do, and it seems like they still can't stop him?
I ain't never seen nothing like him. I done played with different types of players, scorers, guys who score in a variety of ways, but never someone who's so paint dominant, right? Like, everything is predicated on drives to the paint, spinning, finishing, finesse, strength. Dunked on their center a couple times, dunked on the wings, and then, the ability to make the right plays and be able to handle and move that the way he does, the fluidity in his movements, but also the body control and the jumps. Like, I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. I don't know if we will see somebody with that strength, that power, that speed, with the ability to still, jump east and west. He can jump straight up, he can jump east and west and finish, which is tough and makes it hard for defenses to guard him.
What do you think about some of his finishes at the rim? I mean, the degree of difficulty on some of those layups looks really high.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't go in there very often, but when I do, I try to get quick floaters off and quick lays because it's a lot of athleticism. Rudy's a great defensive player of the year multiple times, and he's got great timing. He blocked a couple of them, but to be able to shoot over those guys is tough. It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of confidence, and you got to play angles, and I think he did a great job of playing angles tonight.
Z made a point of mentioning how you, in particular, urged him on right before that last big surge. What do you recall about that moment, or what drove you to say something?
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing this game a long time. You see the moments, you understand the importance of certain possessions. Fourth quarter start, I try to be a little bit more aggressive, get us back into it, try to take the lead, knowing that Z's going to be coming back in, back and clean up. So try to get, established in the game, try to be aggressive and understanding that, they don't have anything for him. So just kind of continue to stay on him, telling him, take your time, you're going to be able to get what you want. Read the switches, read the angles, and then go be great. I think that's important. Like, he knows he's a very good basketball player. I think you guys all know that. But sometimes it helps to hear from your teammates the encouragement, to understand that the work you put in is going to show. It's going to pay off, but you got to go do it. You've already done the preparation. You've already gotten your free throws in. You got your touch shots in. You got your PD work. You ate at the right time. You got your pregame nap in. Now, this is just you showing up, but you got to remember to do what you do in those moments. And I think he did that tonight, and he was great. I'm not going to take credit for him. Like, he's out here doing, what he's supposed to do with his body. He's doing what he's supposed to do in the games. I'm just here to encourage him and try to put him in the best positions to succeed.
CJ, did this feel like a really big game for you guys, a big win for you? You guys were swimming upstream, it's a little chippy, some pushes, a lot of free throws.
Ugly game, but you got to be able to win ugly games. I think that's a sign of growth. I think we probably would have lost this game last year. Get off to a bad start, getting down 8, 9 points, not getting stops. I think that's the sign of a good team, being able to figure out ways to win ugly games. Obviously we're still missing some players, but we haven't made excuses about injuries or guys not being in rotation. We just figure out ways to win games, and I think that's important. And every game is important, especially at home. You got to win games at home. You got to give yourself a chance at home. You got to win 30-plus games at home throughout the season. If you want to win 50 wins, that gives you a better opportunity. So I think that's the mentality for me, is win as many as you can at home. We got a 5-7 stretch. We're in the middle of a 5-7. 3-5 with a back-to-back. So you got to win at home, and you got to beat teams, in the Western Conference.
Thanks, CJ.